Hey everyone, how are you today? It is the 10th edition of the e-karting news face-to-face. My name is Rob Howden, David Cole beside me. I'm in Cambridge, Ontario. He is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're still staying at home, working away. Thankfully, racing starting to come back. David Cole, we are getting tracks opening up. My social media feed is people's engines revving and people driving on the racetrack. And man, does my heart good.
It's getting there bit by bit, as we talked about Tuesday. We're slowly getting there. We're just a few days away from June 1st, and really we're going to see a lot of turnover, I think, in June 1st. More tracks are going to be, states are going to be reevaluating everything. Michigan, just today, they are now starting to open retail stores by appointment only. So that's a good sign. We're getting other things that are going to be opening up as well. We're now to 10 people. So we can have gatherings of 10 people or less. Nice. So it's a positive move. So hopefully that means, East Lansing Kart Track is going to be opening up here at a limited basis, and I'll be able to get some laps there. Grattan Raceway, they're talking about having a test days on June 1st and 2nd. So limiting,
nice.
Now mind you, they're limiting more people, but they're trying to keep it, as small as possible, so it doesn't, oversee the guidelines that are going to be set out. But we're slowly getting there. We're seeing, we had just a big update on our kart track information page this morning. We had, I think, 16 different facilities I finally got back to. So we kind of updated a lot of some of the older information that we got at the beginning of our page, which was just before May 1st. So we got a lot of information updated on a lot of those tracks. And, a number of them are going to be either hosting a race this weekend or next weekend. So we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. We had a number of schedule updates for the 2020 season come out yesterday as well.
Well, one of the big ones, of course, some movement at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They actually changed the Battle at the Brickyard, pushed it a couple of weekends from where it was going to. Just one weekend, right? Yeah. It pushed it deeper into the schedule, the end of July, start of August. When I heard the news, I saw the email. It's like, schedule change. I'm like, oh no. Then I looked at it. Yes, I can still make it. So hashtag Beat David Cole is still on for the Battle at the Brickyard. I'm excited about that.
It'll be going for a few more years too, because you won't be able to actually beat me next time.
So the interesting thing is you keep saying this and you've never ever
we're gonna be there. We're gonna get there.
You've never
get there.
Beat me before ever.
We're gonna get there. Yeah, it's kind of like the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl and winning. They were gonna get there eventually, and then now they've done it. So
that's true.
2020 is my year as well.
All right, we'll see. Speaking of that, things are opening up here in Ontario and Canada as well, which is great, which I'm excited about. They just opened up kind of a first phase. Car and motorcycle tracks able to open up. So I know Shannonville has already opened up, a big track up north, eastern part of Ontario. They're opening kart tracks up. I want to say today. I think today is soft opening at Goodwood. I think they're getting rolling. I know that Hamilton, where Trevor Wickens and Prime Power Team are based, they're opening up a soft open tomorrow. If all goes well, next week, I could be in a Burrell with over at Hamilton with Trevor. I can't wait. He said he's got a card for me, so I just need to turn some laps. I just want to turn some laps.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of people are kind of in the same boat. They just want to be able to turn laps, and thankfully now up in our northern hemisphere, it's starting to get warmer. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt because now the sun is out. It's actually getting close to the 70-degree mark. Obviously our guest is going to be, talking about 100-degree weather and been talking about his hot tub and pool and grilling outside for the last, 2 months?
Don't even start with me. I don't even have a grill. At least you have a grill.
I do have a grill. Yes. I've grilled at least once or twice a week. Yes.
I live in a condo. I do not have the grill. All right. So let's bring them in. So essentially the guest today, kind of, you see what we're doing with these face-to-faces, kind of updating, getting people to come in to update what's happening. We talked to the guys from Bermuda yesterday, Scott Barnes and David Barbosa. We've talked to a lot of track owners today. Coming to join us here, of course, kind of a twofold. Andy Saisman from FTK Promotions, Full Throttle Karting, will be joining us, the promoter of the Challenge of the Americas, which, of course, was not able to run its finale, kind of locked things up. He's also doing the California ROK Challenge. He's the West Coast distributor for ROK products as well. So let's bring him in. Let's bring in Andy out in California. Hey, Bo, how are you? How are things going out in
Good,
Cali?
how are you? Oh, good. I like the logos. That's perfect. I'm bracketed by logos. Now, I don't know how I can follow up if you just said soft opening at Goodwood, but I suppose this is going to be Well, this will be a fun hour, I guess.
Wow.
It's not happy hour. This is not happy hour.
You went there.
You said it. You
went
it.
there.
That's right.
It reminds me of the Fullwood Kingdom.
Ah, there it is. That's right.
Moran Raceway. Yep. Hey, so listen, first and foremost, I know it's been tough for you guys. California kind of shut down, which is a damn shame. Simply, we'll start talking about the Challenge of the Americas. You know, obviously we were able to get to the first two races. The first race in Tucson, strong start, third year with the ROK package. Your 13th year overall, but man, we moved to Cal Speed, and it was just such an amazing weekend, Andy, because going in, we were talking about, hey, we need this many, potentially getting a record number. We might be able to get the most ever at a Challenge of the Americas race. And all of a sudden, everything just starts rolling, and boom, all of a sudden, it's a record number. We were over 140. Amazing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. I mean, I think, I've had some conversations. The three of us have had conversations over the last couple of years that year 3 is always that year, right? I always, when in my business, I always look in 3-year chunks, right? The first year was the switch over. Like, oh man, are we gonna even have anybody? And of course, that shattered my expectations. Averaging, I don't know, 80 or whatever we averaged. And then the second year was like, okay, now let's get kind of back to a new normal. Let's see where we're at. We got to 100 for the most part. So in year 3, okay, let's see what we can build. And then all of a sudden, like you said, we get Tucson was good, and then which kills me because Tucson is such an amazing racetrack. And then we get to Cal Speed, and holy cow, our best total ever. And then looking forward to Sonoma, with the community that I have up there and everything. I mean, I think that was going to be an all new record. I think it was going to crush it by another 20 or 25.
Yeah. But, and that's it. That's the shame, man, because we were going to Sonoma, 150, 160 maybe. It was going to be a huge race, and of course build on into the California ROK Championship. Then, of course, everything comes to a halt in the middle of March, and it's a shame because I know you did everything you could, Andy, to kind of throw dates out there. Should things have calmed down, you go racing, you might have been able to go to Sonoma and get it done, but in the end, ends up being a 4-race program.
Yeah, we had to, I got a kick of pushback. Like, why can't we keep postponing? And, I thought about it, and I think you remember in the very first announcement I made, it says, we're going to push it till mid-May. This is going to be the only postponement. If it goes any beyond that, it's done. And, look at our border, right? All the Canadians, went home, they brought their stuff home, and they can't get back.
Yeah.
So, I can't tell 20%, 15% of my entries, by the way, we're going to keep doing this championship and you can't come.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was the fairest and best thing that I could do. We still don't know, as we reopen up here, we still don't know when we're going to get back to normal.
Yeah.
So, the best thing for everybody was just to draw a line and say, that's it. You guys, we had a great 4-race program, champions are crowned. Time to look ahead.
Yeah. You put a cap on it, right, Dave? Simple.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So we kind of have to put a cap on the series a little bit earlier than expected, and for the first time ever in your program. Obviously we crowned the champions based off the 4 rounds. What you had the trophies, you had the tickets all ready to go to Sonoma to be presented. Are you shipping these trophies out? Are you waiting for like a certain time to maybe do like a presentation? What's kind of the future of that right now?
I'm bringing them to Phoenix, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Obviously the fanfare will be a lot less because of the rules that we're going to have to do, but at least people will be able to get their trophy, get their big ticket, at least to have the stuff to hang on their wall or to put on their desk or their nightstand, if you're a kid. So, I mean, we're still gonna present that stuff some way. It's probably going to be a table where you're going to go pick up your own stuff and I'll wave to you and say, great job.
Virtual high five, Dave. Virtual high five, Dave.
Oh.
Virtual high five.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting which way to go.
I know.
Yeah. So David, you're on this. Well, David's over here. No.
David's over
see?
Here.
There you go.
I forget I'm backwards. It is all backwards, right? So, that's the best we can do with the circumstances, and we'll hand out what we can hand out, people pick up, and then at the end I'll ship or I'll see everybody. We always talk bad.
Hey, bottom line is this: you still got your champions, right? It ends up being 4 races. You don't have a drop. With the drop, it was 5 races total, so you end up 4 races, no drop, and you've got guys that earn tickets to go to the ROK Super Final. That's the bottom line. Ideally, the Super Final will still go off cleanly. Everything will be fine by the time we get there in October, or whatever time they decided to move it around. But you know what? Again, 13th year, you've got champions, and they're going to represent the challenge over at South Garda.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I haven't heard, from ROK what the plans are, but I was nosing around last night and just saw on T-Cart. Sorry, that's another website. But
all right, they're good. They're friends of ours. Yannick's a good dude.
All right, so they just announced the Italian schedule that's going to start in Sicily like at the end of June, right? So they're proceeding forward. It's funny, you look at their schedule. It starts in the south, where the least of problems are, and it slowly moves north. So they're not into Castelletto and Adria, some of the northern tracks, until like September, October. So they've done their job, and if that stuff goes off, we'll see what happens with ROK. I have my fingers crossed.
I was just saying, it's kind of similar to what we are here in the United States, where all the warmer climate seems to be getting back to normal, or as close to normal as possible, a lot quicker than, say, us in the northern hemisphere, where it's been cold and dreary, and probably a couple snowflakes here and there for some of us. So,
you are a snowflake for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how, and I think that's one of the things we saw at the beginning of May was, okay, we're just going to have to wait basically a whole month to see where we are, and now we're getting to that June 1st. As you mentioned, Italy is getting their schedule back out, Germany as well. So a lot of schedules now are getting put up, and like me and Rob talked about before the show, a lot of the scheduled arrangements now are getting moved or rescheduling is getting done. And that's something we talked about a lot leading up to this.
Yeah, exactly. We were basically shut down. If you think the last real event that went on was the last weekend of the winter tour that was completed, right, Garrett? The winter tour at St. Pete, and then then next weekend obviously people got yanked out of NOLA. So March 7th was the last. March 8th was the last karting event, and last weekend there was an event at PKRA's, but it's a solid 2+ months of nothing.
Let's talk first. Let's kind of jump into California, Andy. You can kind of be the guy on the ground there, because obviously you're looking at what you're doing in terms of your program, the California ROK Championship. You're sending product out, of course. Still, I saw that on social that you're still you're still shipping product out to people. Give us an update on California right now. What's the status? People are going back. We see some maybe quiet online social media. People are out testing, getting some lap times. Is that kind of the status right now?
Yeah, it depends on the track. You and I had a conversation a bit ago about, some of the tracks are privately owned little club tracks that can kind of do their own thing. Santa Maria, or even though it's not California, Reno, and some, if you become a club member, you have a key to the facility.
Yeah.
Well, that's viewed as a private club. So like Santa Maria has been open technically the whole time if you're a key holding member. Now, if you're an outsider, if you just want to come practice, no, you're not allowed on the property. But Santa Maria's on an airport, it's public land, whatever. It's ruled by the government somehow. But because it's a private club, you're allowed on there.
Okay.
Places like Willow, there have been some practice days, but no real racing. Adams opened up and did very, very limited practicing. And I know they did one last weekend or a couple weeks ago. And then this coming weekend, they're throwing like a fun race under the radar. We're throwing a green flag, 100cc thing. Troy's kind of working, and the Adams family's pretty well connected in Riverside, so I'm sure it's one of those. Just look the other way. There's nobody here.
That's right.
But as you know, our corporate-owned tracks, the Sonomas, the Cal Speed, man, those guys are probably going to be the last to open, just because the big corporations that are hanging over their head with liability concerns. I know Rob now has been pushing hard to at least get a variance, because Glen Helen, right up the street, the big motocross track that's literally 10 minutes north of Cal Speed, they have the ability to practice with 75 guys. Now, granted, that's 500 acres or whatever it is.
True, yeah.
But there's people on their property, and Cal Speed's gates are padlocked. So there has to be a little bit of give and take for sure. We want to go back. We want to be safe. So there has to be some understanding that kart tracks are big. It's not 400 square feet. They're big, wide open areas. So we'll see. Hopefully next month we're going to get going.
we pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network.
Trader, Evans, Seligren, Birdsell. Karting legends are created here at the Quincy Grand Prix. This is Randy Kugler, the voice of this iconic event. On June 13th and 14th, competition karts will rip around the spectacular and beautiful 1.2-mile circuit set out inside the South Park of Quincy, Illinois for the 33rd time since 1970. The 2020 edition of the Quincy Grand Prix marks the 50th anniversary of the first time karters raced around this historic venue. To celebrate the event, a $10,000 cash purse has been established for the 4 pro classes competing on the weekend. A total of 11 categories will be competing for the unique trophy given to all race winners, the Gussie, designed and named after the original race founder, Gus Trader. Registration is now open, so don't wait and enter now at QuincyGrandPrix.com and become legendary. We'll see you at the park.
25 years of experience, 25 years of success. Greg Bell and Leading Edge Motorsports are heading into their 3rd decade in the sport with winning momentum and the best material possible. Last year's monumental victories at the ROK the Rio and SCUSA Super Nationals have proven what the sport has long known. Greg Bell is one of the finest karting tuners, and he and his drivers can get the job done. Looking for a change in equipment? Get on board with Leading Edge Motorsports. Leading Edge is North America's factory team for Formula K and Praga karts, and the new 2020 models are in stock and ready for pickup or shipping to your garage. Do you want to win like Danny Formal did with Leading Edge in Las Vegas? Call Greg Bell today at 209-369-0921 to secure your place on the team. Leading Edge Motorsports will be trackside in 2020 at the Challenge of the Americas, SCUSA Pro Tour and California Pro Kart Challenge, ROK Sonoma, and the KPX Karting Championship in NorCal. From ROK to Miami to Briggs, rely on Greg Bell and Leading Edge Motorsports to give you everything you need to step into the winner's circle. Check out leadingedgemotorsports.com to learn more. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. Well, and I think that leads, obviously, Andy, into we talk about the California ROK Championship. You moved from California because you got to get things rolling. You want to get guys on the racetrack. ROK racers are ready to get at it. You guys elect to make the move to PKRA. You mentioned the Phoenix track. You were actually out there last week to kind of gauge how they were handling their opening race, or that, not opening race, gauge the race they just had with a bunch of people there. Just first talk about the decision to make the move to take the first round of the California ROK Championship to Phoenix.
Well, the no-brainer is Phoenix is on county property. So, I mean, they have to have, there are no look the other way deals. They have to, have express written consent to even operate. So, the county and PKRA put together a plan. Masks are recommended, social distancing, one-way flow in areas, limited participants, yada, yada, yada. They had a laundry list, which I'm sure I'll get a copy of, and then I will have to tweak my own to how I want it to be. Maybe a little better, and so we'll see. But when looking at what people have to realize is there are plenty of people that said, "Oh, we're practicing at this track. You should throw race. You should throw race." Well, all it takes is, from those of us that are in the business, one disgruntled county commissioner, one sheriff that the track pissed off one day, to roll in there as 40 trailers are sitting on the ground to go, "Yeah, by the way, yeah, your guys are done," right? Yeah. Not so bad if there's a trailer with one team, one team of trailers and 8 guys practicing. That's vastly different than 80, 100, 120 entries at the track putting an event on.
Yeah, exactly that. So, what is the exact date for the launch?
We're gonna do a Friday night, Saturday night deal. All the CRCs were all 2-day things. A Friday, 1-day practice and a 1-day race. Not the challenge format. This is a typical regional, always sort of a Saturday, Sunday. But with Phoenix, with the weather and the heat, the fact that they have lights, and the fact that that weekend is Father's Day, we're going the 19th and 20th. The 21st is Father's Day. So the track's going to be open Thursday if folks want to practice, and I'll put all that information out on our site and Facebook and all that. But we will take over Friday, probably start about 2:00, go till 10. Lights have to go out at 10, come back. And, our CFC format is we run 4 practices. And then that 5th practice, instead of it being the challenge open hot pit, that becomes qualifying.
Okay.
So we get qualifying out of the way early. We'll come back. We'll run 2 heat races on Saturday and a final. So, we'll get plenty of laps in. We'll have a, Friday, Saturday thing. If folks want to hightail it out of their Saturday night, they can, even though we probably won't be out of there till 10, 11 o'clock at night. If not, crash in a hotel, get up in the morning. You can be, for the most part, back at your place by noon the next day and have a Father's Day meal, jump in the pool and have a good time.
Jump in the pool. Go shut up.
I know registration just recently opened up, I believe on Wednesday it was, or even Tuesday it might've been. What has kind of been the feedback from drivers and teams? Like are people been contacting you, to try and get more information? Has it been a very solid influx of people interested in going to the event?
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of interest. I mean, people are Jones in the race. So people are ready to get back at it. People are very excited. We took a break from going to Phoenix for a couple of years, so there hasn't been an outside event at Phoenix in a couple of years. So, people are excited to get back to that track because it's, the racing's good there. The facility's nice. The club treats us well. I mean, you guys have been there several times with plenty of organizations.
For 20 years, yep.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, right? I was talking with somebody, as a matter of fact, about Paul Bonilla. He's like, I like the old track with just the one section instead of the extra section. Well, that extra section was built for the Pro Moto Tour, like in 1998 or 1999. So
1999.
It was built for shifters.
First ever Pro Moto Tour race, 1999 at Phoenix. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, okay, it's not Superbox anymore, so we have to have that.
Oh, yes. Throwing a shot across Bonilla's bow. I love it. Hey, listen, let's talk about this as well. And I know that obviously because you get this first race done, right? You got where the rest of the race is going to be. I know that you and I talked yesterday. You sent out a text, I believe, or an email to SCUSA, to Tri-C, to LAKC, to KPX, essentially putting the word out, the vibe out to all the other organizations, saying, "Hey, let's try to play nice. What are we going to do?" Right?
Yeah, as well as ROK Sonoma, Steve Cameron, and then Tri-C. Yeah, there were 6 of us on the text, and some of us are friendly, some of us are rivals. A couple of us may not like each other very much, but we have to get along, right? So for the Carter's sake, so I put a little text thread out there, and everybody responded to their credit. And I just said, look, just let's keep in touch. The challenge with all of us is that we all are going to try to get our races in, but we have to be cognizant that there's other organizations out there. I mean, there's obviously other clubs in California, but the ones I said were the bigger ones and the kind of the anchor clubs in the traveling series, right? There's 3 of us that travel, 3 are kind of the anchor clubs. Mm-hmm. So at least for me being in Southern California, 2 of them. And, for the most part, a couple people have responded, and we'll see as the year goes along. But hopefully, as we look at the calendar, guys aren't just stuffing stuff on top of other people. I had this technically for me was a reschedule. This, if you remember, the Sonoma reschedule was really on top of the CRC opening date.
Yeah.
Right. And then that got pushed. And because a week and a half ago, when I made this announcement, there was really nothing going on in June. That KPX was the only conflict, and they had said we're not going to start till July. So it was like, great, that date's open. So I pushed onto a completely open weekend, and then I do have 3 other dates that are on the calendar. July 18, 19. I'm looking at the calendar. That's why my face is going this way.
See, he's got August, a calendar too, Rob.
Yeah.
Sorry.
August 15, 16, and then September 12, 13. So, obviously they all have the July and the September events were supposed to be with Sonoma. I probably have not great confidence in the July event happening at Sonoma, but September certainly possible, maybe even probable. August is at Santa Maria. So that's probably going to happen. So I have to look to move July, but for the most part, I just want to be able to remain fluid with our series competitors and our series that are competitors, to be able to adjust and move. And if we move 1 week or the other, if we have to move 1 week or the other, any of us, we just have to be cognizant that there might be other stuff.
That's it. Now, is there an because it's California? Is there a thought of potentially, in the back of your mind, you could bail out, potentially go into October as well?
It's possible. It pushes. Then we start pushing up into the ROK Super Final and all the other stuff. So there's not a ton of time. I would imagine that there's going to be some time in later September. One of my competitors puts on an event in a city street that, man, I can't see that thing happening. 10,000 people in a city street in LA County.
Yeah, that'll be interesting for sure.
September or not, I think that may be a pipe dream for happening. So there's going to be some movement there, I would imagine. So we'll see. We may have to move a little bit into October. There's just not a lot of weeks.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. What else you got there, David Cole? Anything else for Andy right now?
Yeah. So
David said we're going to talk for like 3 hours. So I prepared all this.
There's no way you prepared anything.
I was gonna.
What?
By the way, it's not lunch here, but what's the lunch plan?
Oh, me! I just brought a sandwich today. No Eric today, so I'm brown bagging it. Thank you. I think we'll do some tacos tomorrow.
I will give a shout out to Andy. He's been cooking up a storm over there, man. I'm telling you.
We'll get into that at the closing. Has there been thought of reducing it just to 3 races? Or is it just going to be dependent on what happens with Sonoma stuff and how the rest of the calendar looks for the rest of the year?
That's really the plan. I mean, we all have to be able to be fluid. We have to be able to adapt, and if we can't find a place, we'll have to pull a date out. I mean,
it's just so racers know right now. It's almost like, hey, yeah, if you come, we might not get 4 races in, but we're going to get at least 3.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm working in 30, 60, and 90-day chunks, right? So like my first race now, PKRA, is basically 30 days out, right? July is 60 days out. I will have a plan for July by the time we get to PKRA.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if we can give people 30 days notice, that's plenty of time. I mean, it was so funny. I was talking to a club about their schedule and another track, about another series, and I said, okay, they have a race scheduled there. What do you think? And it's, we're just playing it by ear. I said, okay, well, what's your drop dead date on when you're going to be able to say yay or nay? Oh, we really don't have one. And Garrett Potter's trying to FaceTime me. And I said, we really don't have one. We're just going to decide on the fly. I said, well, you can't tell people like the day before. Like, yeah, there has to be some date, whether it be 15, 20, or 30 days or 45, whatever. There has to be a date, right? Yeah. So how I'm working it is they're in 30, 60, 90-day chunks. I mean, but like I said, my June event's 30 days away, July's 60, August is 90, and basically September's 120. I mean, they're almost perfectly spaced apart 30 days.
Yeah.
So by the time we get to one, I'll have a plan for the next one.
Hey, one thing you did do, you're the first person to do it. You locked your dates in for 2021 already, too, for the challenge.
Yeah, I just I had time.
Yeah,
I had time.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people are struggling out there, and we were fortunate. We were done here for really a solid month. I mean, I basically locked the doors March 20th, and I would come into the shop at night because it was weird, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it where like people were trying to be Nazis about, we saw you at your business. I mean, you hear stories on the news all the time about people getting caught at their business. And you guys have you both been here? I know.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, we've been there.
I mean, this cart shops are like an extension of our homes. You know what I mean? This is not a McDonald's. This is not a Target. I mean, our shops are small businesses, and if we could lock the door, and it's just as safe and secure as our own home, right? So for me to come here wasn't a big deal, but there was nothing to do. I mean, I worked from the house, and got all those dates plugged in, like you said, and it was nothing nothing earth-shattering. It's the fourth weekend of each month. I mean, it's pretty standard challenge in America's Fair, right?
But it's out there. I think that's the key, right? It's out there, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, once again, we got a lot of stuff going on, and there's a couple series that battle for dates in Florida. I'm blessed out here that I kind of have the winter months. I mean, other people get started, but I still have to be cognizant because I do share racers with the other two series, and I share staff with Florida Winter Tour. So there has to be some give and take. And then I know USPKS is starting to dabble in Florida. So there's a lot that just kind of gets condensed into those times.
Yeah.
So hopefully by us putting those dates out, I already have verbal agreements with the tracks. We normally don't sign contracts, a year in advance, but all the tracks have checked off those dates for me. I'm not going to release the tracks yet. No reason to, but
no.
So yeah, all that stuff's done.
One of the other questions I was going to ask you, because this past year you got kind of set up as the West Coast distributor for the ROK program. I would have to think that based on the fact, like I said, I saw on social media you guys are still shipping stuff. You probably have a good feel in terms of the momentum or the status of ROK on the West Coast, just based on the amount of product you've been sending to your dealers. How's that looking? Like, are you shipping lots of new engines out, or is it parts? What's kind of the overall feel for the ROK program?
Shifters and VLRs I cannot keep in stock.
Really?
I mean, I order basically 12 to 15 engines at a time. I mean, no joke, yesterday I got 6 shifter engines in at 1:30, and I sent that picture out at 2 o'clock. 5 of the 6 had to be packaged up and shipped out to dealers, right? So, I mean, I already put an order in for another 15 engines last night because I ran out of VLRs yesterday, and shifters I have 1 left, right? So I can't keep those engines in stock. So that's a great sign for me. I mean, people are still out there. People are still doing stuff. The tires are trickling here and there because by and large, if people are getting out, they're burning through anything used that's in their trailer. They're burning it down.
That's it.
I mean,
yeah.
They're on the Paul Bonilla dig tires out of the trash can program. I mean, we see everybody's race trailers. You're like, oh, there's those saran wrap tires, and there's that pile in the back, and they're folded or in a box. And guys are like, oh, these look good. It's like probably, it's like digging in the back of a bachelor's refrigerator. Like, oh, I can probably heat this up. So, but yeah, I mean, like Troy Adams, I'll give an example, right? Troy Adams is doing this fun 100cc race, right? And you can run multiple brands of tires. I sold in this week, 12 sets of tires for that event. Dealers came in and said, hey, I like the original YLR. That's the tire I want to support. Tire I want to use. Send me 6 sets. Send me 6 sets. So it's out there. It certainly doesn't, from a business standpoint, it's barely keeping the lights on and not really paying me right now, but we're moving and I have kind of an idea of what's out there.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. You've heard and read about us. We are the Rawlson Performance Group. We race to win. Our senior program is the best in the sport, and we have the SCUSA Pro Tour X30 Senior Championship to prove it. Our coaching staff includes 4-time SCUSA National Champion Ryan Norberg, 3-time SCUSA Supernats winner Bonner Moulton, SCUSA Pro Tour X30 Junior Champion, 2015 Rotax Grand Finals Vice Champion, and Junior Development Specialist Luke Selkin, and our hands-on owner, multi-time champion, and IKF Duffy winner Mike Rawlson. This isn't sideline coaching. We're on track, and we dogfight with you. It's like nothing you've ever experienced. You learn more and more with every single lap. Our seniors win races, like Hannah Greenmeyer at the SCUSA Winter Series opener in Florida. And they win because they've been trained, coached, and honed by our RPG staff. Hurricane Hannah is proof positive. If you're a mini driver ready to move up, or a junior driver who's done with running mid-pack, join the team that will develop your skills and take you to the podium. At the Rawlson Performance Group, we turn juniors into pros. In 2020, we'll be racing at the SCUSA Winter Series, Pro Tour and California Pro Kart Challenge, the Florida Winter Tour, and the United States Pro Kart Series, as well as the IKF Northwest region. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG, at 503-260-4514. We're the Rawlson Performance Group. We race to win. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the US, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic and Esprit chassis, and the new for 2020 in the US, the Red Speed and the EOS, OTK quality is second to none. All 5 brands are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the ROK Cup Florida Winter Tour and the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and the SCUSA Winter Series, and the Pro Kart Challenge, and the United States Pro Kart Series and the WK Manufacturers Cup. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. To learn more about a specific product line or to find the OTK USA dealer near you, whether it's Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, Red Speed, or EOS, visit www.otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK directly. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. Well, that's another good opportunity to tell everybody about the whole program that we've been pushing here at eKarting News is hashtag support karting, and great opportunity. Andy's one of the shops, the actual brick and mortar shops in Southern California. And if you need tires, if you're going to go racing, make sure you get a hold of Andy. Call Full Throttle Karting. Obviously, he can get tires for you. You can buy them straight from Andy. Dealers can order as well. Again, we keep pushing this, folks. This is a tough time for the karting industry right now. We're getting rolling right now, but as Andy said, he's starting to sell some stuff, but it's just keeping the lights on kind of thing. So if you have the ability to, and maybe you can't race yet, but it's a good opportunity to buy a used kart, buy tires, buy oil, fuel, chain, whatever it may be. Good opportunity to essentially invest in your local kart shop, because when there's an issue, you're calling Andy, right? You're on the phone to Andy. Hey, what do I do here? This is an opportunity to pay him back for that. Do you agree?
Well, absolutely. And for the shops and teams that folks use. I mean, think about what's been happening, right? Even if people have been buying some stuff with them, they're living off their inventory right now. They're not going out and spending. They're not calling PSL and sending a $15,000 parts order. They're not calling OTK. Right? They're living whatever's been on the shelf. That's what they've been living on. So when we start racing again, they're not going to have a ton of inventory back in the trailer. So if you break something, they actually might not have that part at that first race day because they've sold it all and they can't afford to buy new stuff yet.
That's it. Yep.
So if you think you might need a part to go with what you said, Rob, you probably should buy it. And I'm not throwing those shops under the bus. I'm just saying that we've all been living off our inventory because that's a bank account for us, right? We all have some shops it's $50,000, some shops it's $250,000, some shops it's $1 million, whatever. But we've been living off that like a bank account, and because we don't know exactly what's going on, I guarantee people are afraid to stock a bunch of stuff, right? So,
yeah, that's a good call. That's a good point. I haven't thought about that. You're right.
Yeah. Well, and what's been the communication with Italy as well? Because we know they were shut down for a while, like with all the factories being shut down. What's kind of been the communication, with Garrett and Vortex over in Italy?
They were actually in a good spot because as this was going down, they were really ramped up. I mean, it was right at the end of the winter tour and the challenge was coming to a close. Right as that happens, I know OTK USA, ROK Cup USA put together a monster order to then kind of stock up for the summer. You know what I mean? 3 containers of stuff. And they had literally just gotten that as it shut down. Like I'm calling Garrett, like what's going on at the shop? They're not answering the phone. Oh, we just got 3 containers yesterday. A container of engines, a container of parts, a container of tires. It's like, oh, okay. So we're in good shape for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. Now, granted, Italy was then closed for 2 months. So, but I know they were shipping stuff what they could. So now they're ramping back up. What adds to it is the Vortex factory is actually moving. So now we got another delay we're going to have to deal with a little bit here.
Ouch.
I don't know if people know this, but so the Vortex factory, was in a different location than OTK because Mr. Robazzi had a partner, and it was more convenient for the partner to have the factory near to him. So they were about 2 hours apart, hour and a half apart. Well, that Mr. Robazzi has since, the owner of Tony Kart and ROK, has since bought out that partner. So he's moving everything to his facility at OTK. They're doing some massive infrastructure investment, new building, blah, 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 blah. Well, all that's going to happen basically during their August shutdown. They're moving, right? The typical Italy August shutdown. So, I mean, you can imagine moving, millions of dollars in CNC machines and all the stuff they have to do, right? So it's not like they're going to move it in a day, be ready to start building stuff again, right? So, and the last thing they want to do, honestly, is move a bunch of inventory. So all that inventory that's there, they're going to build, ship, and then move all the stuff, but there's going to be no engines, right? So we've been ahead of the curve. There hasn't been a shortage on anything, knock on wood, and so hopefully we'll be able to get through it. I think it'll be okay. So we'll see.
Well, we're all ready to go back to racing. Let's cap things off here and just talk personally. How are you ready to kill the kids or what?
Yeah, it's actually been a blessing to have the family all under one roof again. I mean, DC has it all the time, so like your life is not much different, except they don't go to school for 6 hours. I mean,
that's the one thing I missed. Yes.
Yeah. You have 6 hours to get the hell out, right? It's different when you have teenagers, right? But to have your firstborn leave and go to college, and then you look in the room and not. Grace actually. The week before he even moved out, Grace took over his room and everything else. So,
wow.
So he's actually in the guest room. And it's been a blessing to have them around. And we had them on lockdown for a solid 6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
And now he's done with school. He just took his finals last week. So we've been allowed, okay, you can go out into the world, right? Your age bracket is very, very safe from this. Grace the same. And she has finals next week. She's in her last regular week of school. We start really early here. So starting next week, they'll both be off, or week after. So Trev went and I think he found a job so he can work in the summer, and Grace will probably tan by the pool. Great.
I'll tell you this again, folks. If you don't know or not, Andy's a pretty good cook, and you rocked out that the carnitas. I had to follow you on that, dude. That was so good. Tacos, and then I made a couple sandwiches. Oh, then poutine.
You made poutine out of it.
Poutine, yeah. That was good. David,
has been fun. It has been fun. Been fun cooking. Trying some new stuff. Like I said, I'm a grill guy and a crock pot guy. That's what I'm. Slow cooker and grill. That's it.
Two things you can't really mess up, right? If you have the right ingredients.
That's what I do.
What's funny is we have our text thread between us, and Sean Beer's on it between the three of us as well, and you and I and Sean are all sending photos back and forth, and then Dave sends like hot dogs.
That's right.
I cook my wife chicken now. You guys would like the chicken that I marinate and actually put on the grill.
I do. Cook my wife's chicken. Yeah, I know. I do. God forbid you have a piece of chicken.
Exactly. No chicken, no fish, no fruit for Dave. Pizza, burgers, spaghetti.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of carbs in this last 2 months. Yeah.
What a shocker that is.
Did you get him the quarantine 15? Did you get that?
No, because I've been doing a lot of walks. So I've been trying to keep myself moving. I typically never went out for walks, but with the kids being home, 24/7, I just needed some, alone time and go do, 2 miles worth of walking and listen to music and not have.
You're not walking with the kids. You're walking by yourself.
Oh no, by myself. Oh yeah.
Hey, Angel Model's got it right here. Put Angel's thing up. Boom. Smash burgers. I've had a couple of smash burgers. That's for sure. We've been nailing them out. My neighbors are loving them too. So yeah, we've had a couple of smash burgers. It's been good for sure.
Yeah, Angel's one of the guys I'm actually bringing out for the race. With the limited format and with the CRC, we don't do all the tire scanning and all that, right? So and flights are incredibly. People are still scared to fly a little bit. So like the girls aren't coming down. No Maddie, no Nicole, because I don't need a whole tire barn, right? We're not right. So I still need my Angel though. I mean, he's I got a guy that gets everybody's lunch, puts all the flags up, mows the grass, and then cleans up at the end of the day.
Badass.
Right?
Yep.
Gotta have everybody.
One of the best for sure. Who do you have for the race direction on that? Is Taylor?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Taylor, Tyler, and Mark. Casey has a little bit of a compromised immune system. I don't know if you know, he's got a condition he's had since birth. So I'm not going to get him out in the right. So, and Tyler is local, and we added him to the staff this year.
Yep.
So we'll be fine. But I kind of squeezed 3 or 4 people out of the staff just because we don't need as big as a staff for something like this. 2-day bang, get done, have a good time.
And like you said, you have Eric. You have Eric who could do whatever you ask him to do, right? And Angel. So you got
Eric. Eric is the only guy in the paddock that can sell parts, sling tires, work in a go-kart, and make cocktails all at the same time.
All at the same time. All at the same time. At the same damn time.
I can look at Eric at any time and go like this, and that means make me a drink.
All right, well, we're done. Andy, thanks for hooking me up with all the information. Number one, just on what's going on in California a little bit, chatting about the challenge and, of course, the California ROK Championship. Early thoughts? What kind of numbers are we going to get? I got to think the Rockers are ready to get back at it.
They're ready to go. If you recall last year, my CRC, didn't start that great. It was the first year of the program, but by the time we got to round 3, we had about 70. Mm-hmm. I think that's easy. I think there's a good chance we can get to 100, and then an outside chance we'll exceed that. I mean, there's, like I said, there's Gary and Ron and Greg. Sorry, that's not new addition, folks. That's Gary Carlton and Ron White and Greg Bell.
Yeah.
But Sweet Tech. I mean, there's guys that are ready to go. Tony Siragusa and his group with Formula Works, and Ryan Ruth and Ruthless. I mean, all my normal guys they're in, right? And then actually, Mike Rollison and Seth Nash called me. They're like, "Yeah, we're ready to go. We need something to do. Tell me particular."
That's it,
right? Because they've been away for a little. Seth came to Cal Speed, but he'd been away for a couple of years. Rollison had been away for a couple of years. So, they called and they said, "No, we're bringing some guys." So it's good. And if we have our normal, I mean, obviously, we're not going to have 140 because 40 of those were from Canada or Colorado or, so we may not see those people. And then there may be some that just stay home. But if we can make up for that with another 20 or 25 new faces that maybe have not been around, we'll be back at 100 or a little more, and we'll be great. That'd be a home run, right?
Now, what I always say, 10% growth, baby.
Yeah, well, that's easy over last year's CRC. That'll be easy.
That'll be easy. All right, Andy. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. And you guys have a great day. It actually looks like the sun's out by you, Rob.
Yeah, it's actually a gorgeous day here, 72 degrees. I'll be in a cart next week.
Dave's like Joe Biden. He's stuck in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That's, shades are closed, windows shut. Yeah.
Sleepy Dave.
Sleepy Dave. Sleepy Dave.
Sniffing kids.
And Gretchen. You got your Gretchen there with you, buddy. Have fun with her.
All right, Andy. Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
Let Andy go for lunch. Well, David Cole, lots of input there from Andy Saisman, of course, talking about the Challenge of the Americas, wrapping that up. The dates, as he said, locked in for next year. Final weekend of January, February, March. Looking forward to getting back to that. Back to some normalcy, right? We'll get to Tucson, fire up the Blackstone. Me and Mark Michione will make some smash burgers for everybody. Back to real life in 2021. But we still got a bunch of months to get done here. He gave us kind of some update on what's going on in California. And then, of course, the California ROK Challenge moving to Phoenix for their launch. Probably, I bet they get 100. I don't think
what their local race they had last week, and I believe was almost 100 entries. I think it was somewhere in the 80 or 90 range. So I mean, it's not fair off to say that he could get that because he's talked about all the number of teams that have committed. They're going to have at least 3 to 4 to 5 drivers each. So you add those guys along with the regular, competitors that he has. Again, local contingent, how many people from that, and then from like Utah and Colorado and even Texas. I'm sure guys from Texas will be coming over to race at Phoenix. So
I would think so. I would think you'll get a good Texas contingent as well.
Yeah. So I mean,
me.
if you're pulling 10 to 20 entries per state, I mean, you're already looking at 80 to 100 drivers right there.
Oh, people just want to race. It's just time. It's just time to get to racetrack. And I think one of the key things to mention, we brought it up briefly. Andy went to the races last weekend at PKRA out in Phoenix because he wanted to see what the track was doing, how they were going to approach all the safety measures that we can put into place. I know that the track itself got really high marks from the county. They put in a kind of a paperless registration program that was done really well. They really liked that a lot. So, and as Andy said, he obviously looks from his own view. He sees what they did. He'll make some fine tuning on it himself. He talked about the fact that we didn't actually get into it, but essentially you come to the track, every driver kind of gets one person, right? It's you and your mechanic. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Now, if you're a minor, it can be you, a mechanic, and a parent, or both parents, whatever it may be. But he's going to lock it down. It's not going to be a free-for-all. Everybody brings 15 or so of their family. He's going to lock this down because it needs to get done right. And I think that I want to get that out to everybody. Whatever track you're running, whatever club you're running, I know there's a certain way you can do it. Hey, we can get by doing just this. That's not what we need right now. Every track that's opening up in karting, we need to think about the optics, and we need to go above and beyond. We need to take it to the nth level. It needs to be the social distancing, no high fives, wear the masks, do whatever you have to do, because we need to be that role model, right? That mark of here's how we're going to do it, so that we have absolutely zero government issue.
Let me bring him back in because I have one more question. Andy, you're there. Yeah, he's still here.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Well, you're still here. The tent situations. Like a lot of these teams have like closed tents. Was there anything that they addressed regarding that when you were at Phoenix?
No, I mean, now granted that was a club race, so all the tents, none of the tents had sides on them, and maybe I'll have to look at that, and maybe I'll have to make a recommendation, right? But like you said, Rob. Yeah, we're our paperless entry. We'll develop a system. Really harp on the fact that yes, we're going to only allow one person per driver. If you are a minor, you can have your mechanic and your parent. Now that also means if you're in a team, you're going to have to be creative, right? Because I'll pick on Mike Rollison right now. I'm not picking on him, but like Mike Rollison isn't somebody's mechanic. But Mike Rollison's going to have to be somebody's mechanic. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to. I understand he's not that person's mechanic, but I can't have 8 drivers and then 42 other people. Because they have a data guy and a chassis guy and a this guy and a that guy. It just can't happen.
Yeah. Every person who's not a driver is assigned to somebody. Essentially,
you're gonna have to sign yourself. And we're gonna have to do it where that everybody comes up at once. Like if Rob Howden's the driver and Dave, you're his dad and I'm his mechanic, the 3 of us have to come together, right? We'll hand you your registration stuff through in an envelope. You'll pull a waiver out. The 3 of you will sign a waiver. I'll watch you, or Shelby will watch you put your wristband on, and then you put the waiver in a box. That's basically how they do it. How they did it at Phoenix. So they had 100 waivers, but that's the way it had to be, right? Yeah. That way we're not passing waivers back and forth through windows, etc. So everything was one way. But you can't have, so-and-so is going to show up later and he's going to get a wristband. No, that's not how it's going to be. It just can't be like that.
That's good.
And then like we're talking about no spectators. That's the thing that I'm not critiquing Phoenix, but I'm critiquing how the way I'm going to do it. I did see a lot of extra spectators that happened to get on the property. I don't know if they were given wristbands. I don't know if they were friends of the club. Blah, blah. That won't happen. It's just not. Yeah. It just can't. Because I can't be the reason if PKRA gets shut down. People are gonna push back at how serious I'm taking this. They go, I was at the club race and they did X. That's fine. The club can take their own risks. I can't take the risks for me and then risk putting the club in jeopardy because I don't do things properly.
Yeah, I love it. I think that makes me happy. That's the way it should be done. Awesome. Andy, thanks for that.
I'm just going to make you happy. Put me in jail again and then come back when you
talk to
me.
As long as if you're just trying to keep me happy, that's good. I'm happy with that. David does. That's why he still has a job.
I'm just going to get rid of him.
All right, get
Bye,
ready.
Andy.
We'll come talk to him afterwards. All right, folks, we'll shut this thing down now. David, great stuff, bud.
I can see what he's doing. You can't.
Oh,
Let me tell you, it's Chase Elliott-esque and willpower.
oh, really? All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Little willpower, Chase Elliott. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. Great. Good times. All right, folks, we're done here for this edition of Face to Face. More to come next week. We have a couple more guests lined up. We look forward to talking to people again. Probably Tuesday. No, next week's going to be different, right? Because
Yes.
Monday, David's taking Monday off. Then he's
Monday
bailing on
and
me.
Tuesday.
Then he's bailing on me on Tuesday as well.
Yes.
Wow. Phoning it in here.
It's been 5 months. I need a day off for vacation. Come on.
Listen, let's be real. Every day's a day off for you, David. Come on. Living the dream.
Let me allow you to live here for 24 hours, and you tell me what a vacation is. Yeah,
no
okay.
no children here at all. Lisa
Thank
and I,
you.
happy as
Yeah.
clams.
I couldn't even handle you for 24 hours.
I can understand that. I get that. All right. So we'll be next Tuesday, probably maybe Wednesday and Friday. Actually,
Wednesday and Friday.
no, we're going to go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, face to face, happy hour.
We're not gonna do happy hour tomorrow, are we?
Well, we could if we want.
We'll figure it out.
All right. I got another race. I have another race to announce. It's going to be fun. I was telling the guys I've announced tonight's going to be my 25th race I've announced on iRacing in the last 3 weeks or last 2 months. I've been doing a ton of iRacing announcing. We're doing one on Saturday with James Hinchcliffe. We're going to raise some money for some charities. It's actually it's called the Better Half Racing. It's Better Half event. So all the IndyCar drivers' wives are going to be racing. So it should be an interesting deal. It'll be on race spots.
Wives and girlfriends.
Wags. Yeah, the wives and girlfriends. So wives and girlfriends racing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be myself and Townsend Bell doing the broadcast. So watch.
Are you guys going to be able to to phone in the male counterparts, to get critiques of them as they're driving?
See, that's what I want. I already saw Will Power actually just absolutely lambasting Liz because she wasn't lifting. She was in the wall every time. He's throwing her under the bus already, which is bad. If you watch it, my pick to be fast is going to be Becky Gordon. Because Ryan Hunter Ray's wife. Because if you actually watch his social media, all four of them about driving karts at Homestead.
Yeah.
Both the kids are racing, and Becky's in a kart as well, and so is Ryan. I think that's awesome. All four of them are out karting, so look out for Becky Gordon.
That's a good bet. That's a good easy bet.
I think she's going to be good. All right, guys, thanks for joining us here on Face to Face. Have a fantastic day. As we said, it is Thursday, May the 21st. I don't have a calendar, but I got it on my laptop here. So take care of yourself. Again, weekend's coming. People are going to go karting. They're going to go racing. We're going to get back at it again. One thing, #support karting. If you haven't ordered one of the t-shirts, head to the ekartingnews.com store. Tomorrow, actually, I'll figure something out. We're gonna pick a winner tomorrow and give someone some swag from EKN from posting their stuff, their support karting onto social media. We love seeing that. Thank you very much for it. David, let's wrap things up. Take care, guys.